It starts with a feeling in your chest, a tightening, a sudden drop in temperature. Someone has just said something about you that isn't true. Maybe it's a partner accusing you of being selfish. Maybe it's a boss implying you dropped the ball. Maybe it's a friend suggesting you don't actually care about them. And in that split second, your brain is hijacked. The panic sets in. You feel the burning injustice of it. You know the truth. You have the receipts. You have the facts. You know, logically, that what they just said is objectively false. So, you do what you think a rational, good person does. You open your mouth to fix it. No, that's not what happened, you say. Let me explain. Stop. Right there. That exact moment. That is the moment you lost. You think you are entering a conversation. You think you are clearing up a misunderstanding. You think that if you just provide enough data, enough context, enough emotional proof, they will look at you and say, "Oh, I see now. My mistake. Thank you for clarifying." But that never happens, does it? Think back to the last time you tried to defend yourself against a false accusation. You're standing in the kitchen. The air is heavy. They've just thrown a label at you. You're always thinking about yourself. Your heart rate spikes. You start listing everything you've done for them in the last week. You talk about the dinner you cooked, the time you picked up their dry cleaning, the hours you spent listening to them vent about their mother. You are building a case. You are acting like a lawyer presenting evidence to a jury. And what do? Do they listen? Do they nod? Do they evaluate your evidence like a neutral judge? No. They look at you with that glazed, bored expression. Or worse, they smirk. They interrupt you mid-sentence to pick apart your tone. They tell you that you're getting defensive, which, in their twisted logic, is proof that they are right. The more you talk, the more guilty you look. The more you explain, the weaker you become. You are pouring your energy into a black hole. You are desperately trying to trade your dignity for their understanding. And the tragedy is, you don't realize that the game was rigged before you even opened your mouth. This is the uncomfortable truth about why you defend yourself. You believe that innocence is self-evident. You believe that the truth has weight. You believe that we live in a world where facts matter more than feelings. Machiavelli knew better. He understood that in the realm of power, and make no mistake, every accusation is a power play. Truth is irrelevant. Perception is everything. And the perception you create when you defend yourself is not innocent. It is subservient. When you defend yourself, you are implicitly accepting their frame. You are accepting their premise. Imagine a courtroom. In every courtroom, there are specific roles. There is the judge. There is the prosecutor. And there is the defendant. The judge sits high up. The judge has the power. The judge decides what is real and what is not. The defendant sits low. The defendant is sweaty. The defendant is desperate. The defendant has to ask for permission to speak. When someone accuses you, "Why are you being so difficult?" And you answer, "I'm not being difficult. I'm just trying to." You have just walked into the defendant's box. You have voluntarily sat in the chair. You have looked up at them and said, "I recognize you as the judge. I recognize your authority to evaluate my behavior. Please, Your Honor, hear my plea." You have handed them the gavel. This is why you feel drained after these interactions. It's not just the argument. It's the dynamic. You are fighting from the bottom up. You are trying to climb a slippery slope of justification, while they stand at the top, effortlessly pushing you back down with a single sentence. You're overreacting. Push. I didn't mean it like that. Push. Why are you making this such a big deal? Push. And you slide back. Down, scrambling for a foothold, scrambling for the right words that will finally make them see you. You are addicted to the defense. You have been trained to believe that if you are misunderstood, it is your job to fix it. That if someone has a wrong opinion of you, it is your responsibility to correct it. You treat their accusation as a problem to be solved, rather than what it actually is, an attack to be neutralized. You are bringing a clipboard to a knife fight. You need to understand the mechanism of the accusation. An accusation is not a question. It is not an invitation for dialogue. An accusation is a boundary violation. It is a weaponized attempt to define your reality for you. When they say you are X, they are rewriting your identity. When you defend, you validate the rewrite. You say, I agree that my identity is up for debate, and here is my argument for why I should be viewed favorably. Do you see the weakness in that? Do you feel how pathetic that position is? The king does not defend his right to the throne. The lion does not explain why it eats the gazelle. Power never explains itself. Innocence never explains itself. Only the guilty explains. Only the subordinate explains. By defending yourself, you are doing their work for them. You are keeping the spotlight exactly where they want it. On you. On your flaws. On your behavior. On your tone. As long as you are talking, they are safe. They don't have to answer for anything. They don't have to explain their cruelty, their dishonesty, or their manipulation. They can just sit back, watch you dance, watch you sweat, and enjoy the show. You think you are fighting for your reputation. In reality, you are participating in your own humiliation. You are digging the hole deeper with every word you speak. You need to stop explaining. You need to stop justifying. You need to look at the dynamic you are trapped in, because until you see the cage, you cannot step out of it. And right now, every time you say, but I didn't, you are locking the door from the inside. You think your defense is a shield. You think it protects you. But look closer. Look at what actually happens when you start talking. You are in a meeting. Your boss looks at the spreadsheet, then looks at you. This doesn't look like the numbers we discussed. Are you not tracking this properly? Your stomach drops. You know the numbers are right. You know you track them perfectly. So you start. Actually, if you look at column D, I included the Q3 projections because last week you mentioned. He cuts you off. He waves a hand. I don't need the technical details. I need to know if you're on top of this. You talk faster now. You're sweating. I'm on top of it. I sent the update on Tuesday, and I double-checked with accounting, and... Stop. Look at his face. Is he relieved? No. He looks annoyed. He looks skeptical. Why? Because confident people don't scramble. Competent people don't vomit details in a panic. By frantically trying to prove you are on top of it, you have just proven, viscerally, emotionally, that you are not. You have validated his doubt. Your panic is the proof he was looking for. Now take it home. You walk through the door. Your partner is on the couch. The air is frigid. You didn't even think to ask how my day was, they say. You just walked in and went straight to the fridge. You're so selfish. It's not true. You were thirsty. You were going to ask as soon as you got water. But the label selfish stings. It burns. So you fight it. I am not selfish. I just got home. I've been working for 10 hours to pay for this house. I made you dinner last night. I bought you that gift last week. How can you say I'm selfish? You think you are bringing evidence to the table. You think you are balancing the scales. But listen to what you just did. You just accepted the premise that your selfishness is a valid topic of conversation. You just agreed to stand trial. By engaging with the accusation, you have given it weight. You have given it mass. If I walked up to you and said, you are a green elephant, would you defend yourself? Would you pull out a biology textbook? Would you say, no, look at my skin. I am human. I have no trunk. No. You would laugh. You would walk away. You would treat it as nonsense. You wouldn't give it the dignity of a response. But when you defend yourself against "you are selfish" or "you are incompetent," you are not laughing. You are treating the lie as if it could be true. You are treating it as a serious allegation that requires a serious rebuttal. And in doing so, you make it serious. You validate the lie by fighting it. Every time you explain, you are telling the other person, "Your opinion of me is more important than my own reality." You are handing them the power to define you, and then begging them to define you nicely. It gets worse. The more you explain, the more ammunition you give them. Go back to that argument on the couch. You said, "I've been working for 10 hours. Now they have a new hook." Oh, so you're the martyr now? You think because you work you don't have to be emotionally present? You think money buys you out of caring. See what happened? You gave them a new thread to pull. You gave them martyr. You gave them money. You expanded the surface area of the attack. Before, they only had selfish. Now, because you kept talking, they have 3 different ways to hurt you. You are feeding the beast. An accusation is like a fire. It needs oxygen to burn. Your defense is the oxygen. Your words, your emotion, your desperate need to be understood. That is the fuel. If you stayed silent, if you looked at them with total indifference, the fire would flicker. It would have nowhere to go. It would burn itself out on the cold stone of your silence. But you don't stay silent. You pour gasoline on it. You throw your reasons and your excuses and your facts into the flames, hoping to smother it. But facts don't smother. Emotional fires. They just make the flames change color. You are teaching people that they can extract energy from you simply by poking you. They learn the pattern. Poke you with a lie, watch you dance, feel powerful. It is a transaction. They give you a false label. You give them your attention, your energy, and your power. It is a terrible trade. And you make it every single day. You need to see this dynamic for what it is. You are not clearing the air. You are not fixing communication. You are participating in a ritual where you are the sacrifice. Every explanation is a confession of weakness. Every justification is a plea for mercy. And the moment you start explaining, you have already lost the argument, because you have agreed that you are the one who needs to answer for something. You are validating the lie simply by treating it as worthy of your time. Here is the uncomfortable truth about innocence. If you were arrested for a crime you didn't commit, what is the very first thing a competent lawyer would tell you? Keep your mouth shut. Why? Because the legal system knows a psychological reality that you have ignored your entire life. Innocence does not need a narrative. In a police station, the person who talks the most is usually the one who did it. The person who is frantic, who is sweating, who is saying, "I was at the movies, check the cameras, ask my mom, I would never do that," that person looks guilty. They look terrified. They look like they are hiding something. The person who sits back, crosses their arms, looks the detective in the eye and says, "I didn't do it. Am I free to go?" That person radiates power. That person radiates certainty. Now look at your relationship. Look at your workplace. You treat your kitchen like an interrogation room, but you don't have a lawyer. You are the suspect, the witness, and the defense attorney all wrapped into one anxious mess. When you over-explain, you are signaling guilt. You think you are providing context. "I didn't answer the phone because I was in the shower, and then the cat knocked over the vase and—" Stop. Listen to yourself. Do you hear how that sounds? To the human ear, a long explanation sounds like a lie. It sounds crafted. It sounds like you had to think about it. The truth is usually short. The truth is boring. I was in the shower. End of sentence. But you don't stop there. You keep adding details. You keep adding color. You keep trying to sell your truth. And the moment you try to sell the truth, you cheapen it. You make it look like a forgery. Why do you feel the need to sell it? Because deep down, you don't believe you are innocent until they say you are. This is the gut punch realization. You are negotiating with a terrorist. Emotional manipulators, toxic bosses, and accusatory partners are terrorists. They take your peace of mind hostage. They hold your sense of self-worth at gunpoint. And their demand is simple. Explain yourself to me. Dance for me. Prove to me that you are good. And you pay the ransom. Every single time. You pay it in words. You pay it in emotional energy. You pay it in dignity. You say, please, just understand me. I'm not a bad person. You are begging them to release the hostage. You are begging them to give you back your own identity. But here is the thing about terrorists. If you pay the ransom, they don't go away. They just learn that kidnapping works. They learn that you are willing to pay. So they do it again next week. Why is the house a mess? Ransom paid. Explanation about being tired. Why did you look at that girl? Ransom paid. Explanation about looking at the sign behind her. Why are you so sensitive? Ransom paid. Explanation about childhood trauma. You are funding their campaign against you. You need to understand that explaining is a submission signal. In the animal kingdom, when a wolf bares its throat to another wolf, it is saying, I am weaker than you. Please don't kill me. When you launch into a 3-paragraph text message explaining why you were 5 minutes late, you are baring your throat. You are saying, I acknowledge your power over me. I acknowledge that I have failed your standard. Please accept this offering of words so you won't be angry. True innocence is arrogant. Not in a bad way. In a structural way. True innocence assumes it is right. It doesn't feel the need to convince anyone. If I know I didn't steal your money, and you accuse me of stealing it, I don't feel the need to show you my bank statements. I feel offended. I feel confused. I might even feel pity for your paranoia. But I do not feel the frantic, burning need to prove it. The need to prove comes from the fear that you might be wrong, or worse, the fear that their opinion defines what is right. You have spent your life believing that if you can just find the right combination of words, you can unlock their empathy. You think there is a magical sentence that will make the accusation stop. There isn't. The accusation is not about the facts. The accusation is about the hierarchy. And every time you defend yourself, you confirm that you are at the bottom of it. You are waiting for a verdict that is never going to come. You are waiting for them to say not guilty. But they are the prosecution. They are not the jury. They will never find you innocent, because their power depends on you remaining under suspicion. You are trapped in a trial that you are paying for. And the only way to end it is to stop testifying. There is a physics to every conversation you have ever had. Invisible laws of gravity that determine who falls and who stands. You don't see them, but you feel them. You feel them when your throat tightens. You feel them when your voice goes up an octave. You feel them when you start sweating over a text message. This physics is called frame control. In every interaction between two human beings, there is a frame. The frame is the accepted reality of the situation. It dictates the rules. It dictates the roles. And here is the brutal law of the jungle. The person who sets the frame is the prize. The person who reacts to the frame is the prize's subordinate. When someone accuses you, you're being crazy, they are setting a frame. The frame is, my reality is objective. Your reality is unstable. When you say, I'm not being crazy, I'm just upset because you have lost. Instantly, irrevocably, Why? Because you stepped inside their frame to argue. You accepted the premise that your sanity is the topic of discussion. You accepted that they are the arbiter of what constitutes crazy. You are fighting a war on their territory, using their map, following their rules. You need to understand the archetypes. In this dynamic, there are only two positions, the judge and the defendant. The judge sits back. The judge asks the questions. The judge evaluates the answers. The judge has the power to condemn or absolve. The judge is comfortable. The defendant leans forward. The defendant answers the questions. The defendant tries to prove their worth. The defendant is anxious. Every time you answer a question like, "Why did you do that?" or "What were you thinking?" you are voluntarily walking into the defendant's box. You are sitting in the low chair. You are looking up at them and saying, "Please, Your Honor, accept my explanation." Machiavelli understood this. He knew that power is not about physical strength. It is about the assumption of authority. The prince never justifies his actions to his subjects. He might explain his will, but he never excuses his nature. The moment a leader begins to apologize for existing, he is no longer leading. He is pleading. You are pleading for your existence. Think about the mechanics of a question. The person asking the question holds the higher status. They are demanding information. The person answering is yielding information. It is an extraction of value. When a police officer pulls you over, he asks, "Do you know how fast you were going?" He is the judge. You are the defendant. You answer. You comply. That is appropriate for law enforcement. But your partner is not the police. Your mother is not the Supreme Court. Your boss is not God. Yet you treat them as if they are. You grant them the authority of the judge simply because they demanded it. They didn't earn it. They just took it. They walked into the room, banged a gavel on the table, and said, "Court is in session." And you, like a sleepwalker, sat down in the accused chair and started testifying. You need to see the frame. You need to see the invisible box they are building around you. Why are you so sensitive? Frame. You are defective. I am normal. Your defense. I'm not sensitive. I just have feelings. Result. You validated the frame. You are now arguing about the degree of your defectiveness. Why didn't you call me back? Frame. You owe me your time. I am the priority. Your defense. I was in a meeting. I'm sorry. Result. You validated the frame. You accepted the debt. The moment you start explaining, you are agreeing that they have the right to audit you. You are agreeing that your behavior requires a permit, and they are the ones who issue the permits. This is why you feel small. It's not the words. It's the geometry. You are positioning yourself beneath them. You think you are being nice. You think you are being open. But in the dark psychology of power, you are being conquered. You are signaling that you have no boundaries, no sovereignty, and no frame of your own. You are a guest in their reality, hoping they don't kick you out. You must stop viewing their questions as requests for information. They are not requests. They are tests. They are checking to see if you will sit in the chair. They are checking to see if you will accept the frame. And the only way to win is to never, ever sit down. Why do you do it? You know it doesn't work. You know the pattern. You know that every time you open your mouth to defend yourself, it ends in a fight. You know they won't listen. You know they will twist your words. You know you will end up exhausted, crying in the bathroom, or staring at the ceiling at 3 a.m. wondering what went wrong. Yet, the next time they accuse you, you do it again. Why? It's not because you're stupid. It's not because you have a bad memory. It's because you are addicted. You are addicted to the drug of being a good person. You have spent your entire life curating a specific identity. You are the reasonable one. You are the empathetic one. You are the one who tries. You are the one who cares. This identity is your armor. It is how you survive in the world. You believe that if you are just good enough, people will love you. If you are just clear enough, people will understand you. So when someone throws an accusation at you, you're being selfish, it doesn't just annoy you. It terrifies you. It hits the core of your existence. It threatens the very foundation of who you think you are. It triggers a primal panic. If I am not the good person, then who am I? If I am the bad guy, do I deserve to be loved? You defend yourself not to change their mind, but to stabilize your reality. You are frantic to prove you are innocent because deep down, you are terrified that you might actually be guilty. You are terrified that their version of reality might be the truth. You don't trust your own perception. You need them to stamp your forehead with approved so you can sleep at night. This is the shadow truth. You are not explaining yourself to help them understand. You are explaining yourself to manage your own anxiety. Silence feels like death to you. When they accuse you and stare at you, the silence is heavy. It crushes your chest. It screams at you. In that silence, you feel the weight of their disapproval, and you cannot bear the weight. You are not strong enough to hold the tension. So you talk. You talk to relieve the pressure. You talk to fill the void. You vomit. Words to make the bad feeling go away. I didn't mean to hurt you. I was just trying to help. See, what happened was, you were using words as a sedative. You were trying to talk your way out of the discomfort of being disliked. And they know it. They can smell your desperation. They know that all they have to do is frown, cross their arms, and wait. They know that if they create just enough tension, you will break. You will rush in to fix it. You will do the heavy lifting. You will compromise your boundaries, your dignity, and your truth just to get them to smile again. Just to get that hit of resolution. You are a junkie for resolution. You cannot stand things being unfinished. You cannot stand someone being angry with you. But here is the darkest part of your addiction. It is actually a form of arrogance. You think that if you just explain it well enough, you can control what they think. You think you have the power to curate their internal state. You think, if I say the right words, I can make them see me. You are trying to manipulate their perception of you. You are trying to force them to view you as good. You are refusing to accept the reality that they choose to misunderstand you. You are refusing to accept that they want to see you as the villain. Because if you accepted that, you would have to leave. You would have to stop playing the game. But you don't want to leave. You want to win. You want the validation of the very person who is hurting you. You want the judge to step down from the bench and hug you. And that desire, that desperate, childlike need for the abuser to become the nurturer, is the leash around your neck. As long as you need them to agree that you are good, they own you. As long as you require their signature on your permission slip to exist, you will never be free. You are defending yourself because you haven't given yourself permission to be the villain in their story. You are so afraid of being the bad guy that you let them treat you like a dog. You need to become okay with being misunderstood. You need to become okay with them thinking you are selfish, crazy, or wrong. You need to realize that their opinion of you is none of your business. Until you can look at someone who thinks you're a monster, shrug your shoulders, and go make a sandwich, you are vulnerable. You are open. You are a target. There is a specific acronym for the suicide pact you sign every time you open your mouth. It is the operating system of the victim. It is the code that runs in your brain when you feel threatened. It is called JAD. Justify, argue, defend, explain, memorize it, tattoo it on your brain. Because this is the exact mechanism they use to harvest your energy. This is how they turn a strong, capable adult into a stuttering child. Let's look at the first one, justify. Why did you buy that coffee? We're trying to save money. Your brain screams, I earned this money. I worked late. It was $5. So you say, well, I skipped lunch yesterday and I really needed the caffeine to finish that report, and it was on sale. Stop. Do you hear what you just did? You just asked for permission to spend your own money. You just accepted the premise that your autonomy requires a valid reason. You stripped yourself of authority. A sovereign doesn't justify their choices. A sovereign makes a choice, and the choice is the reason. By justifying, you are saying, please agree that my action was acceptable. You are handing them the rubber stamp. Next, argue. You never listen to me. I do listen. I listened to you for 2 hours last night. I remembered your mom's birthday. I always listen. You think you are winning. You think you are correcting the record. But look at their face. Are they listening to your rebuttal? No. They are scanning your reaction. They are watching your blood pressure rise. They are watching you dance. To argue is to agree that the accusation is worthy of debate. If a flat earther walked up to an astronaut and said, the Earth is a disk, the astronaut wouldn't argue. He wouldn't pull out charts. He would walk away. Why? Because the premise is beneath him. When you argue with a manipulator, you elevate their lie to the level of truth. You give it oxygen. You say, this is a valid topic for negotiation. And the moment you negotiate with a liar, you lose. Then comes, defend. You're being so aggressive right now. I'm not being aggressive. I'm just passionate. I'm just trying to get you to understand. Defense is the shield you raise when you believe you can be hurt. If you were truly secure, if you knew who you were, you wouldn't need a shield. You would let the arrow pass through you. You would laugh at the absurdity of it. But you don't laugh. You panic. You put up the shield. And by putting up the shield, you tell them exactly where your soft spot is. Oh, she cares about being seen as aggressive. Good. I'll use that. You just highlighted your own insecurity in neon yellow marker. And finally, the most dangerous one, explain. I don't understand why you can't just do this one thing for me. And here you go. The monologue, the dissertation, the 3-part essay on your feelings, your history, your intentions, and your hopes for the relationship. You pour your heart out. You give them the blueprint of your soul. You hand over the schematics of your emotional machinery. And they take it. They don't take it to understand you. They take it to dismantle you. Every explanation is a data breach. You are giving a hacker your passwords. You are telling them, here is how I think. Here is what makes me feel guilty. Here is what makes me feel ashamed. Here is how to manipulate me next time. You think you are building a bridge. They are building a dossier. This JAD mechanism is not communication. It is a transfer of power. It is an energetic transaction. Picture it physically. When you JAD, you are leaning forward. You are expending calories. You are stressed. You are working hard. They are leaning back. They are calm. They are judging. They are expending 0 calories. They are feeding off your exertion. It makes them feel powerful to watch you squirm. It makes them feel superior to watch you beg for their understanding. It is a vampire dynamic. You are the donor. They are the parasite. And the worst part? You initiate it. They might poke you, but you are the one who starts JDNG. You are the one who turns on the tap and lets your power drain out. You need to catch yourself. The moment you hear the word because coming out of your mouth, bite your tongue. The moment you feel the urge to make them see, shut it down. JD is the death of respect. No one respects a person who has to justify their existence. No one respects a person who argues against their own reality. Stop justifying. Stop arguing. Stop defending. Stop explaining. Starve the vampire. You have stopped the bleeding. You have stopped justifying, arguing, defending, and explaining. You have closed your mouth. Now, you open fire. But not with anger. Not with shouting. Not with a counter-accusation like, well, you did this too. That is messy. That is weak. That is just two pigs wrestling in the mud. You are going to use a scalpel. You are going to shift the spotlight. In every interaction, there is a spotlight. Whoever the spotlight is on is the one being interrogated. When they accuse you, they shine the light on your face. You squint. You sweat. You feel exposed. Your instinct is to try to look good in the light. Your new strategy is to grab the light and turn it around. Here is how you do it. You ignore the content of the accusation and you attack the intent of the accuser. They say, "You're being incredibly selfish right now." Old you. "I'm not being selfish. I just..." Spotlight on you. New you. Pauses. Looks them in the eye. Calmly asks, "What is your intention in calling me that?" Boom. The light just swung 180 degrees. It is now blinding. Them. They blink. They stutter. I just mean you're not listening. You don't let up. You keep the light on them. So your strategy to get me to listen is to insult my character? Does that usually work for you? Do you see what happened? You are no longer talking about whether or not you are selfish. You are talking about their behavior. You are talking about their rudeness. You have put them on trial for their method of communication. You have become the judge. This is the power of the meta question. You stop playing the game on the board, and you start talking about how they are playing the game. Scene: a colleague tries to undermine you in a meeting. I noticed you didn't include the Q3 data. Are you hiding something? The room goes quiet. The trap is set. If you defend, "No, I just didn't think it was relevant," you look guilty. Instead, you turn the spotlight. You look at them with mild curiosity. That is a very strange thing to ask publicly. Are you suggesting I am being dishonest? Now they are the ones sweating. Now they have to explain. No, I just meant. Then why would you use the word hiding? That seems very specific. Is there something you're worried about? You are dissecting them. You are stripping them naked in front of everyone. And you are doing it without raising your voice. You are doing it with questions. Questions are weapons. Statements are shields. When you make a statement, "I didn't do it," you are holding up a shield. When you ask a question, "Why do you think that?" you are firing a shot. Use the "I wonder" technique to expose their motive. They say, "You're always so emotional." You say, "I wonder why you feel the need to label my feelings instead of listening to them." They say, "You're crazy." You say, "It's interesting that you use that word whenever I catch you in a lie." Do you notice that pattern? You are not angry. You are observant. You are the scientist studying a rat in a maze. Look at the rat, you are saying. Look how it tries to bite when it gets cornered. This destroys their script. A manipulator writes a script for every argument. Line 1, "I accuse you." Line 2, "You get defensive." Line 3, "I win." When you refuse to say your line, when you skip line 2 and go straight to analyzing line 1, the play falls apart. They don't know what to do. They get flushed. They get angry. They might even start defending themselves. I'm not trying to insult you. I'm just saying. And the moment they start explaining their intention, the game is over. You have won. The king sits on the throne. The peasant is on his knees explaining why he brought the wrong tribute. You have forced them into the defendant's chair. This requires you to be cold. You cannot do this if you are crying. You cannot do this if you are desperate for them to like you. You have to be willing to make them uncomfortable. You have to be willing to let the silence hang in the air after you ask your question. Why would you say something so hurtful to someone you claim to love? Let that sit. Don't fill the silence. Let it burn. Let them feel the heat of their own cruelty reflecting back at them. They will try to deflect. They will try to blame shift. Oh, now you're analyzing me. You say, I am simply asking a question. Why can't you answer it? Keep the light on them. Do not let it waver. Do not let them turn it back on you. If they try to accuse you again, you simply pivot back to the motive. We can talk about me later. Right now, I want to know why you think it's acceptable to speak to me that way. You are attacking the process. You are attacking the aggression itself. You are making the act of accusing you more painful for them than it is for you. And once they realize that attacking you results in a psychological audit of their flaws, they will stop attacking. Because predators don't hunt prey that bites back. Silence is not the absence of sound. Silence is a weapon. And right now, you are afraid to pull the trigger. You have been trained to fear silence. You have been trained to view a pause in conversation as a failure. When the air goes dead, you panic. You think, I need to fix this. I need to bridge the gap. I need to make them comfortable. Stop. That panic is your leash. That need to fill the void is exactly how they control you. They rely on your noise. They rely on your predictable rhythm of attack dash, defend dash, counterattack. It is a dance they know perfectly. They lead, you follow. But what happens when the music stops? What happens when they spin you, and you just stand there? You destroy the dance. Imagine the scene. They have just said something designed to gut you. You're pathetic. No one else would put up with you. They are waiting for the payoff. They are waiting for the tears, the yelling, the how dare you, the that's not true. They are waiting for the energy spike. They are vampires with their fangs out, waiting for the vein to open. And you give them nothing. You don't look away. You don't look down. You lock eyes with them. You keep your face completely neutral. No anger, no hurt, no fear, just a blank, dead stare. And you wait. 1 second, 2 seconds, 3 seconds, 4 seconds. Do you know how long 4 seconds feels in a heated argument? It feels like an eternity. It feels like the oxygen has been sucked out of the room. It is a violation of the social contract. Watch what happens to them. First, they will look confused. They expected a return volley. The ball didn't come back over the net. Then, they will get uncomfortable. They will shift their weight. They will break eye contact. Then, the panic sets in. Their brains start scrambling. Did they hear me? Why aren't they reacting? Do they not care? Have I lost them? And then, and this is the beautiful part, they will start to backpedal. They will start to fill the silence for you. I didn't mean you're always pathetic. I'm just saying, sometimes you act like. Why are you looking at me like that? Do you see what just happened? The silence forced them to eat their own words. The silence forced them to sit in the stench of their own aggression. Without your defensive noise to distract them, their insult just hangs in the air, naked and ugly. You have turned the room into a mirror. By saying nothing, you are screaming. Your words have no impact on me. Your opinion is irrelevant. You are a child throwing a tantrum, and I am the adult watching you scream. This is the gray rock method weaponized. It isn't just about being boring. It is about being impenetrable. It is about becoming a void where their manipulation goes to die. You must practice the art of the pause. When they ask a trap question, why are you hiding your phone? Do not answer immediately. Pause. Look at them. Take a breath. That pause is a power move. It signals that you are thinking. It signals that you are not reactive. It signals that you will decide if and when to answer. It breaks their tempo. In that pause, you regain your center. In that pause, you remind yourself, I am the judge. They are the defendant. And sometimes, the pause is the entire answer. Are you cheating on me? Said by a serial cheater projecting their guilt. You. Silence. Long, hard stare. You. Turn around and walk away. That silence says more than 1,000 words of denial. That silence says, the question is beneath my dignity. The accusation is absurd. I will not degrade myself by addressing it. It is the ultimate dismissal. But be warned, this requires nerves of steel. Your body will scream at you to speak. Your adrenaline will demand action. You will feel the awkwardness crawling on your skin. Let it crawl. Lean into the awkwardness. Make it more awkward. Make it unbearable for them. The person who breaks the silence first is the loser. The person who can sit in the tension the longest owns the room. You are not being passive. You are being strategic. You are withholding the one thing they want. Most, your reaction. You are starving the beast. Silence is an active refusal to participate in your own abuse. It is the wall they run into at full speed. Let them crash. You are the one keeping the trial going. You want to blame them. You want to say they are the abuser, the narcissist, the difficult boss, the impossible parent. And maybe they are. Maybe they are exactly that. But who is the one showing up to court every single day? Who is the one walking into the room, sitting in the defendant's chair, and saying, "Please, Your Honor, may I speak?" It's you. This is the part where we stop looking at them and start looking at the person in the mirror. Because the uncomfortable truth is this: you are hiring the prosecutor against yourself. You are attracted to people who make you feel like you need to earn your existence. You are comfortable with people who make you work for basic respect. You feel at home with people who put you on trial. Why? Because if you are on trial, it means you still have a chance to prove you are good. It means the verdict hasn't been read yet. It keeps you in a state of suspended hope. If I just explain it right this time, if I just find the perfect defense, then they will finally love me. You are addicted to the struggle of being understood more than the peace of being known. If someone walked up to you tomorrow, someone healthy, someone secure, someone who simply accepted you as you are without demanding an explanation for your breathing, you would be bored. You wouldn't know what to do with your hands. There would be no tension. There would be no fight. There would be no high stakes. You would feel invisible. You defend yourself because the defense gives you a role. It gives you a script. It makes you feel important. Look at me. I am fighting for my truth. I am the protagonist in a courtroom drama. But it's a tragedy, not a drama. And the only person who doesn't know the ending is you. You need to confront your own shadow. You need to ask yourself why you believe that love is something that must be argued for. Why do you believe that respect is a negotiation? Healthy relationships are not courtrooms. In a healthy relationship, if you make a mistake, you apologize. You don't stand trial. You don't have to provide a character witness list. You say, "I'm sorry," and it's over. But you don't choose healthy relationships. You choose judges. You choose critics. You choose people who look at you with suspicion. And then you complain that they are suspicious. You are walking into a lion's den wearing a steak vest and wondering why you keep getting bitten. You have a "kick me" sign taped to your back, and the sign is written in your own handwriting. It says, "I will explain myself until I die. Please ask me to start." You are teaching people how to treat you. Every time you JAD, every time you explain, every time you beg for understanding, you are reinforcing the neural pathway in their brain that says, "This person is subordinate. This person is weak. This person can be bullied." You are the architect of your own cage. You think you are trapped by their behavior. No, You are trapped by your tolerance of their behavior. You are trapped by your refusal to walk out of the courtroom. The door is unlocked. The judge has no real power. The bailiff is imaginary. You can stand up right now. You can walk out. You can choose to never defend yourself again. But that is terrifying, isn't it? Because if you walk out, you have to face the void. You have to face the fact that they might never understand you. You have to face the fact that they might hate you. You have to face the fact that you might be alone. And right now, you would rather be abused than be alone. You would rather be a defendant than be a ghost. This is your complicity. You are trading your dignity for connection. You are selling your soul for the scraps of validation they throw at you when you finally win an argument. But you never really win. You just survive to fight another day. You need to fire the prosecutor. You need to dissolve the court. You need to realize that the only person who needs to understand your life is you. The moment you stop caring if they understand you is the moment they lose all power over you. But as long as you need them to get it, you are handing them the whip. Stop asking the person who is hurting you to validate your pain. Stop asking the person who is breaking you to help you heal. Stop asking the prosecutor to be your defense attorney. It is time to fire your entire legal team. It is time to represent yourself. And the only way to do that is to stop talking. You are standing at a fork in the road, and you have to choose right now. You cannot unhear what I have told you. You cannot unsee the cage. Option A is easy. It is familiar. It is the path of the defendant. You wake up tomorrow. They make a comment about your appearance, your work, or your mood. You feel that spike of anxiety. You open your mouth. You start the JD protocol. You explain. You apologize. You beg. And 5 years from now, you are still doing it. Imagine that version of you. Look at their face. They are exhausted. They have deep lines of worry etched into their skin. They have no light in their eyes. They have spent 5 years pouring their soul into a bucket with a hole in the bottom. They are technically in a relationship or employed, but they are spiritually dead. They are a husk. They are a doormat that screams, "Welcome," to every pair of muddy boots that walks by. That is where your current strategy leads. It leads to the grave of your self-respect. You will explain yourself into oblivion. You will justify your existence until there is nothing left of you to justify. Or you take option B. Option B is terrifying. Option B feels like jumping off a cliff. Option B is the path of the sovereign. You wake up tomorrow. They make the comment. You're always so negative. And you do nothing. You don't fix their perception. You don't correct the record. You don't fight. You look at them. You realize that their opinion of you is a them problem, not a you problem. You realize that you do not need their vote to be elected president of your own life. You let the accusation hit the floor. Clang. And you step over it. This is the Machiavellian flip. You stop trying to be good, and you start being effective. You stop trying to be understood, and you start being respected. Because here is the final secret. People do not abuse people they respect. They abuse people who are desperate for their approval. By withholding your defense, you are actually demanding respect. You are saying, "I am not a child. I am not a subordinate. I am your equal, and I will not participate in a conversation where I am the accused." You have to be willing to let them be wrong about you. Let them think you are selfish. Let them think you are crazy. Let them think you are the villain. Who cares? If you know who you are, their version of you is just fan fiction. It's a story they tell themselves to feel better. Let them have their story. You have your reality. Here is your assignment. The next time, and there will be a next time, probably today, someone accuses you of something, you have one rule. The one-sentence rule. If you must speak, You are allowed one sentence. And that sentence cannot contain the word because. It cannot contain an excuse. It can only contain a boundary or a question. Accusation. You never help around here. Old you. I did the dishes and the laundry, and I worked all day. New you. I'm sorry you feel that way. Walk away. Accusation. You're crazy. Old you. I'm not crazy. You're gaslighting me. New you. I wonder why you need to believe that. Stare. Accusation. Why did you do that? Old you. Well, I thought that if I knew you, it seemed like the right decision at the time. Silence. Do you feel the difference? The weight shifts. The energy shifts. You remain solid. They become liquid. You are training yourself to tolerate the discomfort of being disliked in exchange for the power of being free. You are no longer the defendant. You are the judge. And the judge does not testify. The judge presides. The trial is over. You are free to go, but only if you walk out the door.